Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Eric Broadus back again with another video, and in this video I will be continuing the series of professional military education and dealing with the leadership academies that train and teach the different branches of service for the grades of E4. So for those that are going to be frontline supervisors and are transitioning into their first step of leadership. And today I'll be covering the United States Army. So I guess this video can be titled PME, Leadership United States Army. Now, the United States Army for the grade of E4, which would be the rank of corporal, and that are transitioning or pitting on the rank of sergeant. They have to, like the other branches of service, have to attend leadership schools and preparatory courses to train them to lead other soldiers. All right, guys, running right through it. Okay, so the leadership obviously is crucial in the United States Army, and basically they go through the United States Army's professional education is covered through non-commissioned officer education system. Acronym is NCOES. Now that's for the enlisted, not officers, non-commissioned officers. Now for those that are going to put on the rank of sergeant, they have to attend an academy, and the course is known as a basic leadership course. Now, this course in the past was known as a primary leadership development course. Acronym is PLDC. And this right here is the first leadership course for non-commissioned officers. The course lasts approximately about 30 days or a month, and what they do, they teach specialists and corporals, forgive me guys, for specialists and corporals that are going to advance to sergeant. Okay, but what they do, they teach specialists and corporals basic skills that are necessary to lead small groups of soldiers. So the reason for this is that when you have a new NCO or someone that's new as a frontline leader, you want to start them off small so that they can kind of get the feel of leadership. Now, going from being, say, a follower or a worker bee to leading others is not as easy as it seems. It does take time to develop, and it takes time to grow as a leader and to lead others, train, teach, and have others follow you. So you have to basically develop and change the mindset is one thing. The biggest thing that's going to be different. It's mostly mental, and they basically start them off with small groups. Or if you want to say a small cell, it's easier to teach somebody something when you break it down into smaller parts versus giving them something big. So it makes common sense. It's basically, how do you eat an elephant? You don't eat an elephant in one bite. You basically cut it up into small pieces, and then you're able to eat it in small pieces and digest it. And that's the same thing with training or teaching individuals leadership. You don't take someone that's just basically a specialist or a corporal that's going to be an NCO for the first time, and then you give them a whole platoon. They're not ready for that yet, so they need time to develop. All right, and so what the U.S. Army does at this non-commissioned officer academy, what they do, they'll train them and teach them basic skills to lead small groups of soldiers. And now remember, a month is not that long, so these courses, it's going to be like really fast. So that, like I said in videos way back when I started my channel, about get in front of your coursework. Don't let your coursework get in front of you. A month is not a long time to be able to absorb this type of information. So you definitely want to make sure that you take the courses seriously, because the United States Army, they spend lots of money to train their soldiers, and they expect a return on investment, ROI. Okay. All right. So obviously the course is going to be very intensified, and it emphasizes on leadership skills, and it is a preparatory course for soldiers that are advancing to the rank of sergeant. Now, without this course, you cannot advance in your career. You will not be able to pin on sergeant until you complete this course and graduate from this course. So, and the course topics for this basic leadership course, or I'll just say non-commissioned officer academy in the Army, they're going to include topics such as leadership. They'll include training management, how to read maps, land navigation, how to perform drills and ceremonies, and warfighting skills. Now, obviously, leadership, that's a pretty easy topic, but part of leadership is you're going to have to be able to counsel your subordinates. And what counseling is where you talk to the individual. Either you can do it either one-on-one, or you can even address them as a group. But when you talk about counseling, I look at that as more like one-on-one. And throughout your career in the Army as a leader, part of your counseling may be to share with your subordinates what is expected of them in terms of performance standards. As a leader or a supervisor, you eventually are going to have to write performance reports and basically grade your subordinates. In the United States Army, I believe it's called an NCOER, and that's that's a performance report that the United States Army for enlisted soldiers, for the enlisted side, that they use to evaluate performance. So you're going to have to learn how to evaluate and how to grade and write in these reports for those that are beneath you. And the reason why that's so very important is that this right here, you're talking about somebody's career, and depending on how well they're rated in their performance is going to determine how fast and quickly they advance. It can determine maybe certain prestigious position. All these things, these are points. They all add up for your troops to advance in their career. Also, as a leader in definitely any branch of service, their physical fitness is going to be a part of it. And so, as a leader, in the United States Army, you are definitely going to be expected to make sure and lead your troops, in the area of physical fitness. That is part of the military lifestyle, and definitely in the Army. You have to be physically fit, and you will have to rate and evaluate your subordinates, how they perform in this area. But that's part of leadership. Definitely teaching them how they do the job, and perform their duties. Now, I'm going to segue into training management. As an NCO, you will be expected to ensure that your subordinates are properly trained. They cannot perform their duties if they don't know the job or how to do them, or if they were never taught. And so you, as a leader, you are going to be expected to make sure that your subordinates are properly trained. And so that is another area that they're going to hone in and focus on, and train the students at this academy, training management, how to manage it. And understand something, in the military there are going to be times when the operations tempo can be very high, or your schedule can get really busy, but you're going to have to learn how to balance that out and include it in your training management. You're going to have to be able to appropriately manage your time. You're gonna have to manage your time, because now you're not just responsible for your career. You will also be responsible to a certain degree of the career of those that are working for you and that are below you. So definitely training management. And as if you're going to be a leader, you can't properly train others how to do something that you don't know how to do. And if you don't have a certain skill set, or you don't know certain training, then it is incumbent upon you as a leader to ensure that you know where to point your subordinates in the right direction so they can get the training they need. The better trained they are, and you are, the more effective that you will be, and so will your subordinates. So training management is definitely a key area that they're going to teach specialists in corporals, and the students that are at this academy on how to appropriately train and manage your time. Obviously, the area of map reading. Obviously, the Army basically, for the most part, they basically forces operate heavily on land. So you're going to have to know how to read maps. Now, there was some years ago that I did a special duty assignment where I was at this map depot for the Navy in Bahrain, like years ago. Now, on those maps, the maps, to be honest with you, they are actually very simple. They're made for dummies, and I don't mean, it's not a derogatory statement at all. But when I say they're made for dummies, basically like the book. You ever seen that book in the bookstores that they have statistics for dummies or artwork for dummies? And basically, what it is it's made simple and not complex, so that these maps, they're not only just for the Army, but they're for soldiers, for all United States forces, regardless of branch of service. That includes it includes also pilots, and it also includes American friendly forces, to include all NATO forces. So that's what this map is designed for, and it's very basic. And so the different types of maps, more than likely with the Army that you're going to deal with, will probably be more like evac charts. Let me see, you got, more than likely probably evac charts. So now I do know the Army does have, you have helicopters, obviously, and I think they might have a few planes. But the basic charts for maps that you have aeronautical, which is going to cover, aeronautical should cover the water. Evac charts are going to cover basically the jungle, stuff like that. Let me see, aeronautical, evac, and let me see, there was two other areas. You're going to have city graphics. City graphics cover cities. So a good example for ground forces may need to use these maps when performing guerrilla warfare. So you'll have city graphics, aeronautical, evac charts. There is another one, land, sea, and air. I think the aeronautical. There's another one, guys. Please forgive me right now. I cannot think off the top of my head what the fourth one is. But you're gonna have to know how to read these maps. And what these maps do, they make it simple and tell you basically how to get from point A or to point B. Or you're gonna have to use these maps to plot your destination. Now, some of them may require you to use a compass, because they obviously have the different directions, north, east, south, etc., etc. But they also break it down southeast, blah blah blah. But I don't want to get too complex. But on these maps, even on the back of them, they will tell pilots where to refuel at, or where you can get refuel at. Also, they tell you if you're in certain environments, say if you're in a jungle or even the desert, these maps will tell you how to dig and where to find water at, and also which type of plant life, what you can eat, what's poisonous and what to stay away from. So there's a lot even though these maps are simple, they do carry extremely valuable information. And understand something with United States government maps, they cannot just be, once you're done with them, you don't just toss them and throw them in the garbage. They have to be shredded. Now, that is just regular maps. Now, you have maps that have graphics that some can be can contain classified information or can be top secret, so they have to be shredded in a secure facility. And you'll see on the back of the maps that if any of those maps are ever found or lost, you ought to turn them in to either any branch of service or to any law enforcement agency, including the FBI, etc. etc. Turn the map in, because if you just wrongfully just throw those maps in the garbage and the United States Army or the government finds out about it, you can be fined $10,000 or be fined $10,000 and get imprisonment. So you definitely, which I'm quite sure they probably teach you this when you're going through the course. So these maps are not to be taken lightly, because if these maps fall into enemy hands, they can tell the enemy a whole lot about your location or your platoon, what type of movements or maneuvers that you're going to make, and then they can counter that. So, like I said, definitely take it seriously. But the maps are made simple, but you're gonna have to learn how to read them, because especially for you guys that are in the Army, you are going to have to use them at some future point, and you don't want to have troops following you in the desert, or you in, say, in the jungle or something like that, and you don't know where you're going. So every detail counts. Let me see. I'm still going to bother me. I got to think. Let me see. Aero, was it hydro? Maybe, was it not? Let me see. Aeronautical is for air. I think it might have been. Was it hydro? That's going to bother me until I find out exactly what that other map is. But I know there's definitely 4. Yeah, evac chart, city graphics, aeronautical. I'm trying to think. What is the other one? Aeronautical. I'll get it. I'll figure it out. Okay, moving along. Okay, so that's it for maps, and obviously that segues into land navigation. Like I said, with you guys that are in the Army, and in this leadership course, they're going to teach you land navigation. You have to be able to know how to use a compass, and you are going to have to learn how to navigate, because you never know exactly what type of terrain you're going to find yourself in. So definitely pay attention. And like I said, this course is only a month long, so it's not a lot of time. So stay on top of your coursework. Don't let it get on top of you. And let's see, the next is going to be drill and ceremony. Now obviously, the as a non-commissioned officer, there may be times when you have to perform drill and different types of military ceremonies. So you're going to have to know how to size up a platoon. You're going to have to know how to, I'm calling it a platoon or a unit, whatever you want to call it. You're going to have to know how to size your soldiers up, you know what I'm saying, make sure that they're in proper order. You're going to have to learn how to do marching drills, drills for inspection, and normally when you're doing your drills for inspection, you're gonna size up your soldiers, and obviously this is just military terminology. Tallest man to the front, and size them up so that it's organized and uniform. And then you size them up, put them at attention, and then if you're going for let me see, inspection, before you give inspection, you can put them at parade rest, so they can be in a relaxed stance until you get ready to come through and thoroughly check them. But there's different things you have to learn how to do drills. I mean, like I said, that right there, that's the fun part in the academy. Learning how to march and how to lead a unit. That was all fun, and obviously military ceremonies. But I mean, that particular area should be pretty easy, because when you actually do this, throughout in your career, you're always going to have preparation and others to help walk you through on how to appropriately prepare for drill and for any military ceremonies. But like I said, once again, take every bit of these of the training that you get, take it seriously and learn all that you can, because it's going to benefit you. It will definitely benefit you. And lastly, war fighting. War fighting, and the reason why I would definitely say that's very important, because you guys are the enlisted branch of leadership, and the enlisted side of the house, you guys are the ones that carry it out tactically. You guys perform the tactical maneuvers. You go out there and perform. Whereas on the officer side, they're on the strategic end. So basically, the officers come up with the strategy or the battle plan, and then the enlisted, excuse me, are the guys that are the boots on the ground that tactically have to actually carry out what the officers plan, strategically. And doing your learning your warfighting topics as a leader in the military period, the military, you have to be adaptable, and you are going to have to be able to improvise, because in a peacetime setting, or say in a classroom setting, everything is structured or organized. But when you actually get out into, say, the I don't know, maybe I'll say the real army, when take it out of a classroom situation and you have to actually apply it in real life, things don't always go according to plan, so you have to be able to use your leadership skills and be able to adapt, and you have to be able to think. If you're gonna learn anything about war fighting, you must be able to think, and you must be able to maintain your composure. You have to be able to think and function under pressure, and that is in any branch of service. You must be able to think and function under pressure, and that pressure increases when you have to lead others. It's one thing to do it just for you as an individual, but then when you have subordinates or soldiers that are depending on you, and they're following your commands, so long as it's in line with the United States Army regulations, you have people that are depending on you. And then, as you being a tactical leader, and especially as sergeant at this level, you are at the lowest level of leadership, so you are the closest to the ground. You are the closest to your soldiers that have to carry it out, and they can't appropriately carry out the mission if they're not properly trained and if they're not led right. So these areas, it all ties in: leadership, training, management, map reading, land navigation, drill and ceremony, and warfighting. They all tie in. And like I said, it's one thing to be at your home station, and even if you're on a TDY, on a tour of duty, and you're operating, say, in a peacetime setting, but when you actually have to go to, say, maybe a deployed location where conditions may be a bit more austere, or bombs and bullets or whatever, activity is going on, all of this stuff, you're going to remember, that all this stuff is going to come to pass. So you want to definitely pay attention in these classes, because if you don't think that you'll ever wind up in a combat situation, or think that you ever need it, well, take a look at all them troops and what's going on in Iraq now and with Iran. So don't take this stuff lightly or for granted. Take your training, take it seriously, and that goes double if you are going to be a leader. Because now you're going to be held to a higher standard, and you are responsible for more than just yourself. And when you go into combat situations, to a certain extent, you actually, if they're under your command, when you out there in certain deployments, you got other people's safety and lives in your hands. And so, it's a great honor, but it's also a great responsibility. So, and then obviously there's perks with leadership, but to whom much is given, much is required. So, with great power comes great responsibility. And as a United States as a United States soldier in the Army, you are a professional, and you should represent your branch of service you know what I'm saying, with dignity and with honor. You know, it's you know, so like I said, learn all you can in these courses, and like I said, it takes time to grow. It takes time to grow, but I don't really have much more. But this is just for the Army, the basic leadership course, and these are for specialists and corporals that are advancing to the rank of sergeant. You are the first line of leadership on the enlisted side. So take it seriously. But that is all I have on this one for the United States Army. And again, I'll just run through what the topics that will be covered in this Leadership Academy with the United States Army. Leadership will be one topic. Training management, map reading, land navigation, drill and ceremony, and lastly, warfighting. Thanks guys for watching and listening. And my channel is Eric Broadus YouTube. That's ERICBROADUS YouTube, or ericbroadusyoutube.com. So please subscribe to my channel. And for those that are subscribed, tap the bell so you can get future subscriptions, live streams, or any other podcasts. And please share the video with others. You know, there's always somebody that's interested in valuable information. What may not be valuable to one person is valuable to another. So please share the video and hit that like button, and please leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? Leave a comment. Hit the comment section. And the only way for you to leave a comment, you either got to be on if you're watching this on your TV, you won't be. I don't think you can hit the comment section that way. But from your phone or a computer or any other device, you can scroll all the way down to the bottom, and where it says add comment, leave a comment in there. Hit the like button. And if you don't like it, hey, it's cool. Hit the unlike button also. You know, I definitely appreciate the engagement. And before I get off, also, I have a audio podcast called Snacks Thoughts. That's SNAKZTHOUGHTS. Snacks Thoughts. That's my audio podcast. And so come on over there and, you know, subscribe and check me out. You know, check me out and share it. But thanks, guys, for listening. And again, this is Professional Military Education, Leadership, United States Army. All right, guys? Peace out. Catch you on the next one.